Hello and welcome to the masterclass about hairlines in wig making and general hair pieces. I'm Flo from Cosplay. I'm a special makeup artist in Germany and a little bit of France as well, doing cosplay since 2005. And so after a moment I became a wig maker. Today I wanted to show you, as I said, different kind of hairlines. I hope you will learn from it, and if you have any questions, just comment them and we're gonna figure something out that you will learn from it and hopefully have a successful project. Thank you and enjoy! So why should we do something with our hairlines when we do wigs? The wig is still one of the most important things on a costume. So when you have a great costume, it could be less beautiful and the impact is less effective when you have a wig that is different kind of hairlines that you can use, and of course for hair pieces, for beards, for sideburns. So when I say hairline, it could be everything that is just the transition from the skin to the hair. The different kind of techniques to create different kind of qualities of hairlines depending on your project, to create this illusion that the wig or the hairpiece is your actual hair. When I choose wigs for my projects and for my clients' projects, I choose the wig based on different criteria. It doesn't need to be the hairline. Sometimes it's the color or the texture of the hair, etc., etc. So there are different criteria you have to take into consideration. For example, for my haiku wig, I chose the wig because this wig has a skin top, which is very difficult to recreate quickly. I also chose this wig because the fibers are silky, so it's easier to brush. Also, when I will make the wig for Hanji and Levi from Attack on Titan, I would choose skin tops because when you have dark hair, you need this skin top shining through to make it more realistic and less compact. A high quality wig doesn't always have the right hairline for your project. For example, I made the Nia Automata wig for Lightning and she went for the best wig she can get, which is a front lace for cosplay. A different kind of hairline, so I had to reconstruct the wig's mount to fit this project. You will need the following tools and materials. Let's begin with the general ones. A wig head matching your size. And the best would be that you already made a head copy following my tutorial about making a head copy. Hair cutting clips, hair wefted or loose, measuring tape, a blow dryer or a heat gun with a low setting, hairspray or other hair products, a teasing brush, which is officially called a curling brush, sharp crafting scissors or shears. If you want to go professional, please do not use fabric scissors. For the glued hairlines, you want to grab either liquid latex, matching the color of the fibers you're going to use afterwards, or any kind of flexible glue, glass head needles or pins. To ventilate or knot a hairline, you will need obviously a lace or a lace section that you want to modify, a drawing card, and if you want to, a hackle. These are professional wig making tools. Ventilating tools like the hook holder and ventilation hook. In the video, knotting needles. Tweezers, open end thimble and stitch catcher are optional. Again, professional wig making tools. The thread and the needle are for corrections and add-ons. Lace, loose hair or weft. In this case, I mention it twice because this is natural hair. And again, professional wig making materials and tools are block pins and a hammer for the mounting of the wig onto a wooden head. One very easy and quick way to have a very perfect hairline and still don't invest more than you have to is using your own hair in the front. So let's say that this is a person. You have your own hair here. What you're gonna do is use a normal cosplay wig and just pin it right behind your actual hair, like so. And then you have a perfect hairline. Of course, you have to do it properly, not like that. But I think this is a very useful technique to save a lot of time. So let's say that the character has like super fancy 20s water wave stuff going on here. And you can just wave your hair on top and not to have the back of the head in the morning of the convention. Many cosplayers doing elves and other realistic and long-haired characters do this. Realistic hairline in the front, but still a lot of hair in the back. This is an example with longer hair, but of course you can use the top part of your hair hidden with a wig to have the style you need, and the sides or the undercut is your real hair. I wrote an article in the Kuaku magazine, How to Tint Your Own Hair, and I will include that also in my wig book. It still saves a lot of time because you just have to do the front and not the whole wig, and you don't have to glue a wig and make it look good the day of the event. When you have a project where the hair front is hidden, it is totally fine to use a hard front, because then these wigs are cheaper than normal wigs and you can use that budget for something else. These wigs still have a potential that is quite useful, for example, if you want to transform them into other higher quality wigs, in case the hairline might be visible for other projects. In this case here, when he's wearing his headband, he always has the hair going that way strangely, and when he has the headband off, the hair falls over his hairline, so he doesn't even need a front lace or something else. One of the very cheap versions of hairlines is the rooting, or the floofing I call it, like the floof. The base is also a hard front. So as an example, I took this commission, which is a normal hard front. As you can see, the first thing you want to do is to reshape the wig's mount, which, as you can see, there are these hoops going up, so you want them to go back, and they won't stay back only by brushing. Fibers are plastic. Plastic is a thermoplastic. You shape plastic with heat and then you let it cool down in the position you want to be. You can't just put it off and then the plastic will search its original way again. We want the front to be as flat as possible so it looks more realistic. What you can do also is to remove the first row of wefts, which is quite thick here because it has been sewn in many layers. This heat gun can go very low and very high. It has 3 different levels here. And also this manual wheel for hair, please begin in a very low setting. It's already better than the bulb we had before. This is very difficult to work like this instead of just doing this movement with the hairdryer. Many cosplay wigs have this fluff here. It's falling out, obviously, because I was bending the hair back. So what you can do is take this out of in between the longer hair, because we need this for a nice transition. And what you want to do is here to concentrate on the front first. You decide how far back the hairline should be. What you do is just teasing the roots, because we don't want to have a lot of volume. This is why this section is quite small, but we still want to have this fluffed hairline here. So if your hands hurt and you get warm, then you're doing it right. It begins already to fluff up. Heating and teasing are the 2 things that make a wig styling. No matter what you do, you need to heat and you need to tease. What you can do, of course, is flatten it up a little bit more. Don't pull it up back too much or else you will lift the hair in the front again. This is heat sealed and floofed up. I'm just gonna fixate approximately a little bit. Of course, you have to put so much more time into that than now. But if you like that, like this, then you can go in and cut off the excess hair. Keep the hair just in case you want, maybe you can glue one side and floof it up and then put it inside to hide the mount of the wig even more. And one thing I really like is to do this. You heat it up and you pull back the hair as if it was just tiny baby hair. Be careful to, of course, not brush the hair or else it will be too straight and you will pull out the teasing again. Try to break the line, rough it up to make it more realistic. So again, this is not a professional hairline. This is just quick and cheap. So what you can do is hold the hair and heat it up in detail like this to curl it up. It's a lot of back and forth between different techniques and many different layers. Here I would go down a little bit more with the hair because you want to create sideburn. This is where you can even go here and add some hair from the teasing. This is the base to glue the hair, because like this you have a smooth transition from the skin to the mount, which is a hard front, and then the actual wig. The good thing about this also is that you are hiding most of the mount. You can see the difference now between this one and this one. It takes a lot of time, so you need to be very patient, and it is very physical, very tiring. Glued hairlines are very durable and very cheap and easy to do. Just be careful that you have an accurate copy of your head, because it is more stiff than having a flexible wig, so it might not fit you anymore if you don't do it correctly. With Shikamaru, what I did is just gluing the hairline all around, and then I did the styling. This wig is not a wig, it is actually just a glued hairline that I assembled and then just did. Actually, this is not the attachment for this one. This is the Iruka one, like this, and like this. So it is a very cheap, very light and easy wig, because this is not even one weft I made, actually 2 wigs with. So when you do this, be careful that you protect your wig head before, because there would be glue everywhere. As you can see, the hairline goes all around, so something that is very important, again, that you work on the wig head that is literally matching your own head. Before beginning to glue the hairline, research the hairline of the character in detail, and then find real-life examples similar to this hairline. So if you have an actor who has this receded hairline or something similar, you can base your styling on this one. What you do is you prepare your hair, you spread it on a baking paper, and you try to have a very natural line. You don't want to cut it off like this. When gluing the hair, be careful that you stay quite anatomically. The good thing is that you are completely free to choose your hairline, because you can even cut in your wig here and in the mount if you want to have these receded hairlines, for example, which make it very realistic. I'm just going to use a hairspray as an example. So you put it there and don't push it together, just keep it very gently like this. Then you heat it up, you dry it, then I apply some glue here and another layer. I position like I wanted to have it. And this is exactly why it is very, very, very important that you push down the hairline before beginning with the glued hairline. This is an example, for example here, and it will break the line a little bit when you have the floof underneath, so be very, very patient. It will take time. So as soon as you make the row, you can, and fixate it please. From the inside, you can even fixate it with whatever glue to be sure, and then you cut it off and style it inside your styling. I already fluffed up the hairline of this wig. This client wants to have a glued hairline as well. You need the floofing up here to have a smooth transition to the wig itself. You don't need a weft to do that, so of course most of the time you get wefts. It just needs to match the wig's color. The smart thing about that sometimes also, what you can do is get a darker shade of hair, and then you have a darker root, which makes it very more realistic. This is why I'm a huge fan of airbrushing my wigs, because then people think that it is real hair. So depending how realistic you want the hairline to be or how characteristically spiky, you can prepare your hair depending your wishes. And I would do it separately and then apply it with additional glue. You can use whatever glue that is flexible, and as long as you can work well with it. Many use, for example, the transparent contact glue. That is not the contact glue, but the transparent one of Patex, for example. I even use liquid latex because you get the color you need. For example, for Kakashi, his roots are dark and the hair is light, so always go by the root of the wig. Another hairline is the knotted hairline in a lace. So this is a lace, a very flexible and nice one. But this is a bought one mechanically. It is not a hand knotted one. But it is still a better looking quality and more realistic than a glued hairline or even a hard front, for example. This is already a very nice base to work on. So what I do when the client doesn't have much budget, I buy a front lace. What you do, it is called tweezing, because you use tweezers. You have to be very, very careful that you don't rip the lace. So take your time and just pull one hair at once. Here again, I aim to do a triangle shape with each spike to make it look as realistic as I can. With this technique at least. I mean, of course there are limitations, but this is as far as we can go. Just a few millimeters behind this hairline, you already see the bigger knots, so you can remove some of those and help the wig to be more realistic. You have this hairline here that is quite harsh, and this hairline here that has been worked with the tweezers. Be careful that you don't go back too much, because after a moment your own hair will begin and either you will see your own hair or the wig cap. So be careful that you don't go back too much. What you can do is put on the wig cap in the same color as your skin, and additionally you can add color on your hair so that the transition from the skin to the wig to your own hair is smoother, and then the wig cap sits here and pushes down your own hair. The other hairline is the hand knotted hairline. You can get a front lace and ventilate additionally some hair, or what we do normally when we do commissions, we remove the hair of the front lace, because even when it's a front lace, it is not nicely knotted. The knots are too thick and they are too geometrically arranged, very straightforward, and it doesn't look natural because we need this breaking of the lines. So what we do, we go back, we remove the knots and then go forward again to have a very fine and sometimes even, depending what material we use, HD-proof hairline. This, of course, you can recreate when you have a normal wig like a hard front, and then you add some lace. For example, this lace here, you can buy it, it's just a piece of lace, which is totally not nicely knotted, but you can use the plucking technique to improve this hairline and add it to whatever wig you have, or you make it yourself after pinning it and sewing it. So this is the most time-consuming piece, and also when you have a parting here, you will see that this part here is very harsh again. It is very ugly, but this styling goes back, so we didn't have to remove the knots here and add new ones. Here you see the difference between hand knotted and industrial knotting. So you see that the knots are way too big and this one is way finer. The lace is finer, but also the technique that each knot has just one hair. I'm often asked where you can get lace. When we talk about the lace, we don't talk about tulle or lace for sewing. We want to have the professional or at least semi-professional lace that you need for these wigs. They are finer and they exist in different colors and different shades and different thicknesses. Sometimes they are too stiff and too shiny. You can get them at Arda, at, well, these pieces as Coscraft, Creolan, and professional special effects stores, of course, but I don't know if you can buy there as a muggle, I don't know. And then you can, of course, use the same lace for moustaches and sideburns. We have front laces, which are very fine. Some of them are thermal shaped. This is a front lace, which is very fine, so you can imagine how it might disappear on the skin. These are just leftovers to train and to test, so they're different colors and different shades and thicknesses, depending what you need in this case. The different kinds of fibers that you can work. So this is animal hair, for example, all three of them, horsehair and buffalo hair and stuff like that, which is used for historical wigs. Then you have normal cosplay wig hair, horrible cosplay wig hair, wool crepe, in this case it's cotton wool crepe, and again a very silky and nice synthetic hair in this case. And now we have here two examples of a normal fabric lace. This is the one we don't want to buy, because as you can see it doesn't have the right shape. And this one is a horrible, stiff and shiny lace that is ripping and just very uncomfortable to wear. To show you the concept of hand knotting, I'm gonna show you this with these huge hooks used for crochet normally, and a wig net. This is just to imitate the lace and a equally not very fine thread. The idea is having the hair like this, you can twist it and you press it firmly. When your finger turns white, you do it correct. So you get in with your needle, you pick up one thread, you take the one hair normally, best would be one hair, but when you're in the back of your head, of course, you can just use many hairs at once, but the best and the finest hand knotting, of course, is with one hair. So you get in, you take one hair, you turn it downwards so you don't get stuck on the net, and then you synchronize it like this immediately, so you have this movement here. And now this is why it's called ventilating, because you're doing this ventilation movement. So you lay your needle here and you turn your hair like this, and then you turn your needle, see the movement here, and then you push it through. And this is exactly in this moment, synchronizing it like this, this is exactly in this moment where most people have a problem. So, and then you pull your hair through, and this is how you do a knot. What I have for my needles is this ugly thing, but it's very useful because it's, well, it's silicone, because when you use fabric, the needles, or the tips of your needles, will stuck in the fibers of your purse. But what's something that is even better than this are these cigar tubes, or just, you know, glass tubes, whatever, but glass can break. So what you can do is use this. Be aware that you should add a piece of foam on each end, because when the needle is jumping around inside, it might break the needle. What professionals do is putting the hair for knotting in this kind of tool, Kadetsche, and then you can pull out the hair one by one. Now I'm showing you how to ventilate professionally. You grab a piece of your lace, you give your needle one hair, and then you have this. Then you put your needle here, you turn around once. The second one, you ventilate around it, you pull through. This is exactly the part that is most difficult to do for beginners. And then you can pull the left and right. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned a lot. Make sure to check out the masterclass about the hairline copy head technique, because you will need that. If you have further questions, just comment them. And on Instagram, there are many streams and many posts if you want to learn more about that. And of course, the community is great to answer questions in the comments, etc. Of course, you can also check all the social media and my homepage. There are many creations there as well if you want to just have a break or an inspiration. If you get inspired, I want to see that. And yeah, feel free to also check my shop for other things. So see you next time, and good luck.